Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thank you very much for joining us for our weekend weather update across New Zealand, Australia and the South Pacific. And we've got more changeable weather on the way. Classic sort of midwinter stuff, at least for New Zealand, although Aussie, you got some frosty cold stuff coming along as well. And up in the tropics, even the southerlies are getting up to New Caledonia and Vanuatu, whereas just over across in Fiji and Tonga, you got a north to northeasterly. So we've got quite a lot of variety in our weather map as we head in towards the weekend. And we've got rain and snow coming for New Zealand as well. But we'll kick off with temperatures. You don't need to get too detailed in all the numbers and things. Just really what you're looking for is the blue. The blue is showing that it's colder than average tonight across Australia and New Zealand, and a similar story on Saturday night as well, although warming up a little bit more down in the southern part of Aussie and also the very lower part of New Zealand. Both of those areas have got slightly warmer winds coming back in again. So the cold change is fairly short-lived. Let's take a look at Saturday. Here you can see the big high pressure zone that's been bringing the frosty weather to inland parts of Australia. And as it moves in towards the New Zealand area, it's driving in that southerly. And the blue line means, as I said yesterday, the cold air further south is taking a bite out of the atmosphere. So that's why it'll feel colder in many places on Saturday. But with the sun out, it's a one step forward, one step backwards. It's been so gloomy in the north recently. I'm sure that even with it being a bit colder, the sun will be welcome. A little bit windier around Adelaide to Melbourne to Hobart, caught up in that northwesterly wind. So as we go into Sunday, rain and snow coming into New Zealand. This is the 2-day rainfall from 7 o'clock on Sunday morning, and the main area of concern over here on the west coast, where we're seeing 150 to 200 millimetres of rain coming. That's a lot, and it could be falling in a fairly short amount of time. So rain warnings right up the west coast are looking possible or likely at some point either later this weekend or for the early part of next week. The North Island, much lower totals at the bottom part here. We've also got some snow on the way, including the desert road. There could be a few snow flurries on the desert road later tonight and into Saturday. Hopefully not enough to cause many problems. The heaviest snow down here in the South Island, and again, we're talking some really big amounts of snow. There could be 200 centimetres or more of snow falling on the mountaintops here. In fact, we're actually indicating 200 to 300 centimetres, so that is a lot of snow right on the very tops of the mountain, not low down. Lower down, we're only talking about a few flurries. So we've seen a couple of flurries this morning, possibly a few more on the way. Let's take a look at Sunday lunchtime. High pressure over the North Island, those windy nor'westers coming in and that rain moving through as well. And don't be fooled by the nor'west angle. It's not always warm. This one's a colder one coming through. That's why we're seeing the snow clouds. And Australia's not exempt either. You've also got a wintry southerly coming through, and it's all connected to the same airflow for New Zealand. So we'll also be seeing wintry weather arriving in Melbourne and in Hobart, or Victoria and Tasmania. Those areas will be getting it, but windy westerlies further to the north. Next week, a stormy day on Monday in New Zealand. Strong northwesterly winds, severe gales around the usual places, the Southern Alps, inland Canterbury Plains, Cook Strait later on. Heavy rain on the west coast, heavy snow up in the mountains. Not a good travel day for the South Island. Severe weather with snow, rain and wind are all possible on Monday. Southerlies are fading in Australia though, so not quite so much of a news headline there. By Tuesday, high pressure is really locking in here. You might get a few frosts here and there, but in the New Zealand area, mild northerlies for parts of the North Island, and up comes that cold front into the north. Now, I said on social media the other day that I thought the middle of next week would be settling down. This is Wednesday next week, and sort of right, that high from Australia, from Tasmania, is on its way into New Zealand, so you'll notice that the weather is clearing down in the south. Great news if you're going away for the skiing, because the weather should be really improving. Also some good news in the North Island. There could be snow flurries on Mount Ruapehu, which hasn't had a lot this year compared to previous years. So yes, a bit unsettled for the first half of next week, but we do think as we go into Wednesday afternoon and certainly later into the week, we hope that high comes in and brings a day or two of settled weather for the holidays. That would be good, but it's that time of year. And the easterly winds for the tropics and easterlies coming in for Queensland, they carry on as well, and they're actually going around the same big high. So that high is a Big one, 1041. It's the main controlling feature for both New Zealand and Australia next week, although a small area of low pressure here. Worth keeping an eye on. It's in a place where it could deepen quite quickly, but should move away. That is all from me. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.